In this series, we analyse teams, identify problem areas, and suggest solutions in the form of incoming players. We don't follow gossip, rumours or conjecture, we're only concerned with the players' on-field performance and their suitability for the role in question. Today's team is Bayern Munich. Welcome to Sensible Transfers. Despite winning the Bundesliga for a 10th time in a row, Bayern Munich's first season under Julian Nagelsmann wasn't what it might have been. They were eliminated early in the German Pokal and disappointingly by Villarreal in the Champions League, meaning that the summer of 2022 needs to be about renewal. And it has been. Bayern have already signed Mazraoui from Ajax, probably the most well-rounded fullback on the market, and Ryan Gravenberch from the Dutch club too. Gravenberch might not be quite ready to be a week-to-week starter in midfield, but there's little doubting his potential or the intrigue in seeing him grow into the double pivot positions currently occupied by Joshua Kimmich and Leon Goretzka. But while there are other issues facing Bayern, we've decided to tackle their most pressing need. Robert Lewandowski has just a year left on his contract and will either need replacing this year or next. Sadio Mane's transfer from Liverpool has been completed and he could no doubt operate as a number 9, but that's an option rather than necessarily the plan, and would only mitigate Lewandowski's departure. Lewandowski has had an extraordinary career at Bayern Munich. In 7 of his 8 seasons, he's scored 40 all-competition goals or more, in addition to collecting 8 straight Bundesliga titles and in 2020 a Champions League win. In 2021 he also, with 41 goals in the league alone, broke the single-season goal-scoring record set by Gerd Müller all the way back in 1972. So Bayern are not just replacing a high-volume goal-scorer but a modern icon. In addition to which, Lewandowski is also an intelligent presser and a regular target for and receiver of forward passes in the attacking third. He doesn't really create chances for his teammates, so that's not something that we should worry too much about, particularly not with the creative elements that exist elsewhere in the Bayern side. So if Lewandowski leaves this summer, which seems most likely, there are actually very few candidates to replace him. Erling Haaland has gone to Manchester City, Romelu Lukaku is returning to Inter, while Gabriel Jesus has joined Arsenal and probably lacked the appropriate penalty box presence anyway. So our pick is Lautaro Martinez. Inter are still facing financial limitations, and most likely they'll be compelled to make a major sale this summer. That should keep Martinez's price reasonable for a club who've never spent more than 80 million euros on a single player and who've already spent significantly this summer. Martinez's physical profile is different to Lewandowski's. He's 4 inches shorter, and yet his goal-scoring habits are quite similar. Both are right-footed but score a healthy percentage of their league goals with their left foot or their head. And similarly, despite the physical differences and tactical contrasts between Bayern Munich and Inter, both players score their goals from roughly the same positions and in similar volume. According to data provided by StatsBomb, Martinez also averaged more first-time shots per 90 than any other player in the top 5 leagues in the 21-22 season, which again would likely suit the kind of chances that Bayern Munich tend to create. And whilst it's also true that Lautaro Martinez has enjoyed his best seasons with a partner, Edin Dzeko last season and Romelu Lukaku the year before, both in a 3-5-2, it's not really fair to describe Bayern's 4-2-3-1 as a single forward system, given that Thomas Müller averaged 5.94 touches in the attacking penalty area per 90. Bayern also averaged 64.8% possession during Julian Nagelsmann's first season. So given that domination and the number of players that Nagelsmann's side commit forward, it's hard to imagine him ever having to lead the line in isolation. Lewandowski is virtually irreplaceable, but Martinez is probably as good an alternative as it's possible to find. Now, another scenario might see Lewandowski stay until the end of his contract in the summer of 2023, in which case Bayern would be in the business of succession planning, which would call for an entirely different sort of transfer. Perhaps someone capable of providing goal-scoring support from the bench and either buying the club time to find a longer-term replacement or potentially growing into the starting role themselves. One option might be Atletico Madrid misfit Matheus Cunha, who has Bundesliga experience with Hertha Berlin, where he typically played from the left but has not really found a full-time role under Diego Simeone. Cunha is a more rounded forward. His work off the ball is extremely good, and he presses well enough to feature in a Nagelsmann side. Additionally though, as well as being another penalty box goalscorer, he's a more creative centre-forward who has craft and one-on-one ability in his game which many goalscorers lack. He's unlikely to score goals in the same volume as someone like Lewandowski or Lautaro Martinez for that matter, but he would be an interesting option for a Bayern side with plenty of goal-scoring threat in other positions. A different sort of solution would be offered by Stuttgart's Sasa Kalajdzic, who's nearly 6'7" tall, and yet despite that size is another highly rounded player who could develop fairly quickly. Kalajdzic is reasonably good without the ball, and that would be another attraction for Nagelsmann. And for someone so conspicuous by his size, he has a subtlety which, like Cunha, would make him an interesting addition to Bayern Munich's other attacking players. Now 25, the Austrian managed to average almost a goal every other game for a limited Stuttgart team in 2021, before missing the first half of his second season at the top level with a serious shoulder injury. 6 goals in 14 comeback games, again for a struggling side who only avoided relegation on the final match day, should assuage doubts that his first season was any kind of anomaly. He's a very modern target man. A better description would be a complete forward. He's left-footed and is as much of a threat in the air as you'd expect the Bundesliga's tallest player to be. But he can score goals and create chances with finesse and flair, as well as through his physical advantages. He's clever with the ball, and what separates him from other players who are just tall is his vision and his awareness of the movement around him. He would be a project, no doubt, but we're shopping for the long term, and that makes Kalajdzic, who with his contract due to expire in 2023 would be considerably cheaper than Martinez, a sensible transfer. If you'd like to see sensible transfers for your team, then you are in luck, because we've written sensible transfers articles for every team in the Premier League and published them on The Athletic. To read them, you can get a 30-day free trial for The Athletic by clicking the link in the description. Thanks for watching today's video.